Welcome to this week's episode of Biz Success in 15, where top experts share hot tips and strategies that you can implement in as little as 15 minutes to build your dream business. And now here's your host, the Visibility Wiz, Cindy J.
Hi, I'm Cindy J, the Visibility Wiz, and welcome to this episode of Biz Success in 15, where top experts share hot tips and strategies to build your business that you can implement in 15 minutes or less. Today, our guest is Galit Ventura-Rozen, and she is an award-winning speaker, business performance expert, author, and a 25-year entrepreneur. She works with entrepreneurs to increase performance, profits, and productivity. She is a well-known speaker on the topics of leadership, real estate, business, and the successful mindset. And she has been named the top 100 women of influence for 2 years in a row by My Vegas magazines. And she's a Women's Chamber of Commerce Nevada Hall of Fame inductee for leadership. She's a 3-time honoree of the National Association for Women Business Owners, a Woman of Distinction Award, and Galit is the author of The Successful Woman's Mindset. Welcome, Galit. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Cindy J. Thank you for that fabulous introduction. You're so great.
You're very welcome. My pleasure. You are so accomplished. I'm so excited to speak with you about the successful woman's mindset. But before we start talking about that, I'd love it if you could share a challenge that you had to overcome in order to achieve your level of success.
Absolutely. Starting out as an entrepreneur at such a young age of 21, 22 years old, my biggest obstacle and challenge was the stereotype of what an entrepreneur is supposed to be. I was quite young, straight out of college, starting my own business when the average age of people in my field was 40 and about 95% male. Mm-hmm. There was this image, almost like this black suit, tie image. You need to work 60 to 70 hours a week. And so for me, my biggest challenge that I believe I overcame, and I'm very proud of, is the idea that let go of any type of stereotype of what others or society makes the position, the profession, whatever business you have or work for. They might have this idea of what it's supposed to be like. If you want, try to make it your own.
I love that. Yes. I always say your business is your playground. So you get to design it and you get to figure out who's playing in it and what equipment's there.
One of my favorite sayings is your business, your way.
Yes. Yes, definitely. In business today, do you find that women are facing the same challenges, or what special challenges do they have?
I think that a lot of the challenges that I faced 25 years ago are still around for us. Mm-hmm. You see a lot of it with what's happening today in the news. I don't think it's gone away. We're only making a percentage of what men are making, and mm-hmm. so many different jobs. A lot of times they'll send and want to have a male figure. But I think what I love more than anything today that I've seen is that really and truly, Cindy J, today the woman has a voice. She stands in her power. She's learning her value. And a lot of those things for me are related to the idea that we have the support system, just like you and I. How many times have you interviewed me and I've interviewed you? We continue to promote, support each other, and want to work with what others would call the competition. So I think today it's become, in my opinion, easier to find the good old girls club. Remember the good old boys club? Right. I think we're doing a pretty good job forming our own club as well.
Mm-hmm. And I know I see us today as the pioneers for future women to have their voice.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm so thankful for that.
Interestingly, you had said that we face the same challenges today, and I know that you wrote a whole book on mindset, but recently I read from another female colleague how she was trying to recruit people to speak at a big event, and she was super excited because she knew all of these woman, female entrepreneurs that she could invite to speak. And she said she started asking them, and one after another kept saying, oh, I couldn't do that. No, it's just, I couldn't do it. And so that really digs deep into what the woman's mindset is, that we're sort of holding ourselves back. So I'd love your opinion on this, what you would say to somebody who's saying, I can't get up on stage with all these big men.
It's one of the top fears. I think it's the top 3 in the world, the fear of speaking in public.
Right.
What I share with you is this. I work with a lot of clients that are in business, and what we do is we start teaching them how to be visible, how to get out there. Because if you hide in your 4 walls, I always joke about my 4 walls, Cindy J, then how is someone going to know what you do? Okay, great. Then it's not about you. How are you going to impact them? How are you going to show them something that's your area of expertise that they don't know? And at the end of the day, I believe each of us have a gift in an area of expertise. So my advice to someone like that would be this. You have to stop thinking about this being about you. If you truly want to serve others, if you truly want to make an impact, and if that woman asked you to speak at her conference, there's a reason why she asked. She feels like you have something of value to share. So what if instead you took a step back, you took a deep breath, and you said yes? And then you figured out how to get through it and to deal with it, because there's 1,000 people that can show you how after you committed. And that's something that I'm really big about. If an opportunity shows up and it feels right, stop letting fear stop you. Stop letting fear make the choice for you. And now instead, say yes and figure it out.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I know that you wrote an entire book about the woman's successful mindset, but can you briefly share what your definition of a successful mindset for a woman is?
Absolutely. So the successful woman's mindset came about because of my experience of being in a profession for 25 years and owning a business that was largely male. So I kind of had to be my own cheerleader for a while until I found my people, in a sense, which thankfully I did. But what I would share with you is that my meaning of the successful woman's mindset is being genuine and authentic and living a life that you choose to by your own definition of success. I will never tell anyone what being successful is to them. Only you can know. I have this paragraph in my book, Cindy J, that talks about a woman staying home and raising 4 children and a woman running a Fortune 500 company. I'm sorry, but to me, both those women are successful, and everything in between as well.
Right. I completely agree with you. And it's very interesting. You go back 40 years ago, a mother that stayed at home was what everybody thought, so if somebody was working outside of the home or had their own business, she was the outlier. But today, the woman that does decide to stay at home with her child is an outlier. And also the woman who decides not to have children. It's interesting how many women I've spoken to that say how much negative feedback they get from either deciding not to have a child or for deciding to stay home and be a mother.
Well, that goes back to the first question you asked me. The first question you asked me was, what challenge did you overcome and what did you really learn from it? Well, that's it. You can take that experience that I shared with, where you need to stop worrying about other people's perception, other people's definitions of what you're supposed to be or not be. And you have to own your worth and your value as a woman and recognize you can't please everybody. I was that girl. When I was younger, I wanted everyone happy all the time. And if somebody didn't like me in business or in my personal life, I thought something was wrong with me. Well, I finally learned that it wasn't me. I was a good person. I was nice and caring and genuine and authentic. So embrace who you are. Own it. Own it. Please own it, anybody listening and watching. Own it and get comfortable with it. And that's not easy for us as humans. You know that, Cindy J.
Right.
We're so accustomed to not wanting to be judged. Well, you know what? I'm so sorry, but I don't know somebody in this entire world that isn't being judged by someone. So just kind of get used to it and recognize it's just part of it. I came to the conclusion and understanding in my life, and it took a time, that there was just no way to make everybody happy, and I needed
Right.
to get over that concept.
Mhm.
That idea that you walk into a room, Cindy J, and I'm sure you've heard this before, where there's 50 people in a room and 49 adore you. And
Right.
that one, that energy, that feeling, the way they look at you, and all you do is focus on the one instead of the 49. It's the
Exactly.
same example.
Mhm. And speaking about that, what tips would you give somebody even to start changing their mindset? You know, and I know that these are ingrained in our subconscious mind that are running our lives. So how does one start to change their mindset to have the successful mindset that they're desiring?
Well, the first place that I would start is, I need you to look at your routines. How are you starting the morning? Are you starting in a rush? Does the alarm go off and you're rushing and you're already starting out your morning, in a sense, on the wrong foot? Wake up 30 minutes earlier. When my kids were young, I have 3 children, and my oldest and my youngest are like 7 years apart. So what I did was, I'd always wake up 30 minutes before my children. Not to work. Oh, heck no, I did not touch the work. To have something hot to drink, to sit for a few minutes, to wash my face quietly without 3 little ones running around. So I want you, it doesn't matter if your kids are small, you don't have kids. I still use that today, and my kids are grown. I wake up, I give myself some extra time. I do not rush, and I take care of me. That involves listening to things that I love. It might be a book, it might be a meditation, it might be a flow dream. I listen to things every morning of how I want to start my day. I also start my day thanking whatever you believe in for your blessings. I sit up in bed. I don't even stand up until I say thank you for this day. There's something magical about getting in the shower and saying thank you for this hot water. And it might seem silly, but I can't explain to you how many times I have heard from people, and I've experienced it myself, where I wake up in a rush and then my day is just, the entire day is off. So
Right.
the easiest place to start, and the first place I would start, is in your morning routine, and be consistent. You don't have to do the same thing every morning. I switch it up, but be consistent with your mornings and starting out your day. If in the middle of your day you're having a bad day, stop, change it up, go for a walk away. If you work for somebody, go to the bathroom, stand in the bathroom for 3 minutes. Everyone has time to go to the bathroom. Go
Right.
get some tea. I always use that example because we always make time for going to the bathroom, but we never make time for ourselves. Please know that no matter what time of day it is, no matter what's happening, it is possible to change your path, to change your mindset to something else.
I love that. Thank you very, very much. And
Sure.
I know you recently did a video, and I was intrigued by the title. It's You Weren't Who You Were. So can you share a little bit about the message behind that?
Yeah, that was one of my blogs. Wow, Cindy J, it's been a bit since I did that one. So you aren't who you were means that a lot of times we have this ability to stick ourselves into what we might have gone through 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago, even 1 year ago. You aren't who you were. Today you are somebody else, and you're allowed to be. And tomorrow you may be someone different. Now, what does that mean? It means that you're constantly growing. One of the chapters in my book is called She is a Work in Progress. You are constantly growing. I am a work in progress. I tell people that all day long. And if you're anything like Cindy J and I, we're constantly working to better ourselves. So if you did something you weren't proud of, please give yourself a pass. If you were someone that today you're not, you don't have to keep revisiting that person. Just make a choice to let that person go. Let that person be, and then choose to be what you want to be today. And if you don't like who you are today, make a different choice and choose to be someone else, because that's also possible.
Thank you very, very much. And Galit, I know that you have a strategy that our listeners can implement in 15 minutes or less to build their business. So can you share that with us?
Yes. One of the biggest things that I have challenge, or my clients have challenges with, is prioritizing, and what I call the squirrel syndrome, which I'm sure you've all heard before, where you go squirrel and then you're doing 6 other things. I myself am a multitasker, and so I implement and share with you the things I have to remind myself daily. What I want you to do is I want you to have a list, your to-do list. Some of my clients put it together on Sunday night when they're fresh from the weekend, because you start thinking about all the things you need to do this week. I work on a Monday through Friday schedule. Sunday night, sometimes my brain is so full, I want to empty it. So write down everything that you need to get done that week. If Sunday doesn't work for you and you have so much going on, do it every night before the next day and just handle that list. Then once you make that list, you prioritize what's important and what's not important in reference to the goal you're trying to accomplish. So for example, if you're trying to get new clients, is that thing that you wrote down going to get you any steps closer to getting new clients? Please relate everything on your list to a goal that you want to accomplish. And then when those things show up, and they will, the texts, the emails, the phone calls, before you answer that call, ask yourself, do I need to answer this call right now, or can I call them back because I'm doing something else? Do I really need to answer this email? Do I really need to answer this text? We live in a society where people are expecting us to respond like this, but you don't have to. So make sure that you don't squirrel on your to-do list, because what will happen is at the end of the day, you'll look back and you probably won't get half as much done as you could have if you did not allow the distractions to happen.
Right. Very, very good tip. Thank you.
Sure.
And Galit, I know that you have a wonderful gift for our listeners. Can you share what that is?
Absolutely. One of the things that business people don't always recognize is that part of being a business is being visible so you can attract your ideal client and also make an impact. And that involves speaking. Now, I don't mean you have to get on a stage in front of thousands of people. Cindy, Jay, and I were just talking about this. Podcasts, summits, Facebook Lives, YouTube Lives, anything to do with your voice. Right now, this is public speaking, what Cindy, Jay, and I are doing. What I have is 5 direct links to getting speaking gigs. And these are really promotional speaking gigs because you want to get in front of your ideal audience. And these links are going to show you how to go ahead and get those kind of opportunities in front of you.
Mm-hmm. And are these opportunities just as good for the new person that hasn't established themselves yet as it is the pioneered person?
Yes. So anybody that's just starting their own business, anybody that works for somebody else and their job is to get out there and be visible in their community, take a look at these, because what it basically is doing is I'm putting opportunities in a sense at your fingertips. So things are going to end up in your email that you can look at and then potentially, oh wait, that looks like of interest. That's in my area. And I'm just trying to make it easier for you to make yourself visible.
Okay, thank you. And to our listeners, you want to head on over to bizsuccessin15.com/Galit, and that's Galit, all lowercase. So head on over to bizsuccessin15.com/Galit, Galit, and grab your free 5 direct links to speaking gigs. And Galit, do you have any parting words for our listeners?
I think for me, being a woman myself for 46 years, as well as working with women the last few years, 100% of the time, I would want to share with anybody that's listening, and if it's female or male, that you yourself need to understand your value and your worth before you can expect somebody else to. That's what I would like to leave everybody with.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. Absolutely true. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed today's show, you want to head on over to bizsuccessin15.com/Galit, Galit, and grab your free gift, the 5 direct links to speaking gigs. You'll also be able to re-listen to Galit's words of wisdom and download it, and also catch up on any past episodes that you might have missed. I'm also going to have a link to Galit's book about the successful woman's mindset. So you'll want to be sure to grab that book too and learn how to really hone your own successful mindset. And Galit, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy J, for having me.
Okay. Big hugs. Have a great week and be sure to tune in next week for another episode of Biz Success in 15. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Biz Success in 15. For all links mentioned in today's show and to watch or listen to previous episodes, visit bizsuccessin15.com. Thanks so much for listening, and be sure to tune in next week for another amazing guest.